Howdy! How's everybody out there in YouTube land? I hope this finds you well. It's time for another exciting episode. Mind Equals Blown. Here we are on Thursday night. We're into October now. Like it or no, here we go. I'm a poet and I don't know it.
We're here. It's October. Trick or treat's right around the corner. Should be a fun time.
Let's see. I got myself talking back to myself here. Let me get that shut down.
Yep. I'm recording the audio through my Rodecaster. I don't know how that happened.
Well, what the hell for? Prosperity?
Turn that off. That doesn't interrupt the broadcast or anything, but if you want the first 2 minutes of our show on audio only, I got you covered, Brenda. Hey, how is my audio compared to Brenda's? Am I coming in soft, coming in hot?
I think you're a little light, but hey, okay. You've been lighting the risers ever since that Hooter job, but
all right, I pushed it up another notch. Another notch. Hey, look, I got this camera I'm not the camera. My microphone is now on a boom arm. Look, I can turn it all around and I can look at my computer and it travels with me. It's closer to my mouth.
Don't you think you're fancy?
Well, I think I am. I have estimated this will improve my show by 1%.
Well, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Toys. Just in case anybody out there is wondering, I'll give you a little update on the roofing, tree falling on the house deal.
How many weeks has it been?
8 weeks.
8 weeks since that disaster. Okay, what's the latest?
8 weeks. We're working on week 9 now. The roofers tell me that they will have the materials here first of the week, which will be followed by the crew. And the first phase of the job is going to be to repair the roof and get the new shingles on, get everything fixed up there. And then the second wave will be everything else, which is the soffits and the gutters and downspouts. And they have to power wash the front 3 sections there of the house and paint them where the tree scraped her all up. And then they got to put in the new side of the privacy fence that got took out. And he assures me that everything will be done by mid-November. Unless it gets too cold. Because if it gets too cold, then they can't paint.
Okay.
So that's the word. I'm hoping that they can get her all done and get this over with. Let me finish up all the paperwork with the insurance company and start moving on. Because mid-November, that means that I've been, September, October, November, 3 months. 3 months.
That's too long. Too long to have a hole in your roof.
That's a quarter of the year shot.
How is the tarp holding up?
Well, he went up there and looked at it today. He did after I talked to him. I heard him up there stomping around. And it must be okay because he didn't come down and say nothing about it. So, I guess, Tony said he put a lot of screws in it up there to hold her down. So it must be holding, but it's supposed to rain all day tomorrow. It's supposed to start in about midnight tonight and rain all day tomorrow.
Are you going to send that to Pennsylvania or is it going to stay in Indiana?
I don't know. I know that they're saying next week up in northern part of the U.S., northwestern part of the U.S., it's going to start snowing. So there's a cold front moving in there to the Dakotas and whatever, all states is up in there, and it's gonna be snowing and hateful up there and sub-zero temperatures and all such as that. So it looks like it's liable to be an early winter if that's what's going to happen. I'm thinking just keep it out there. Let me get my house fixed. I called Tony last year when I got snowed in. We got those 2 12-inch blasts of snow in here, one right on top of the other. And I called it, can you dig me out? This year, it won't be the driveway I need shoveled. It'll be the living room.
Oh, no. Oh, you have a question in the chat. Why didn't Russ fix your roof? Says John.
Well, Russ lives in Florida and I live in Indiana. That might have a lot to do
Russ
with
is he
it.
talking about? Russ Clarity or Russ?
I would imagine he's talking about Russ Clarity.
Okay.
But Russ lives down in Florida and I live up in Indiana. So, Russ can't get here to fix it. And
yeah, there you go. There's your answer,
yep.
John. Jim Bashir is popping in here under all his accounts. He has the driveway workshop.
That's because he's dropping likes with all of his accounts. What are you doing?
I'll be happy to tell you this week, 3 of my 17 channels gave this show a like.
3 of 17. Laura, I don't even rate 50%.
I was bouncing around on Awesome Wood Things. I'm like, boop, put that on there. And I was on Piano Awesome. And I was over here on All Things YouTube. So you got 3 from me.
That is just sad.
Hey.
Man, oh man. We got a bunch of folks out there in the chat. We all say howdy to them, I think. Going up to the top of the list here, Sheena's Keto Prepared Homestead has been in there. I don't know if she's currently with us or not, but she's in there earlier. When a Girl Has No Name is out there. Harneal Media, that's Steve. Say hey to him. Driveway Workshop with Jimbo Shears is in the house. Strong's Adventures. Hello, hello, hello. Yes, it has been a hot minute. You ought to come around a little more often. Knock some dust off of you a little bit, come on in here and say howdy to us. Always glad to see you. If you're not familiar with Strong's Adventures, you need to go over there. He does a lot of cooking outside with the wrought iron.
Okay.
The iron skillets and stuff. He's got the complete, utter setup, everything you need for cooking outdoors. He makes cakes and all kinds of stuff in that iron stuff that he cooks with.
Nice.
And let's say we got John Lautry. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And Donnie the Traveler. Sorry about that. My eyes are not working good today. My allergies are going berserk with this crazy weather. One day it rains and pours and pours and pours, and then the next day it dries off and the pollen falls out of the trees and makes me nuts.
My goodness. I'm getting my eyeballs checked on Monday.
Well, I don't do them no good to check mine because it's allergies is what it is.
I see.
They've done told me that, my eyes are just a gloopy mess from the allergies. I thought when I first started going to the eye doctor, I thought it was pink eye. And so he put me on antibiotics and that didn't work. And I went back and he put me on some more antibiotics and that didn't work. And he said, look, this stuff that I'll give you, this is 3 different antibiotics that you've been on. He says, if these ain't working, what you got is not pink eye. What you got is allergies.
Oh, man.
Yep. And so he put me on some allergy stuff and it don't half work. I only take it when I absolutely have to because it just, it doesn't do the job, and I just as soon not have anything working at all is to have something that just half works and makes you crazy.
Sounds like a good plan. Hey, can I make a quick announcement, Brenda?
You sure can.
All right. Everyone out there in Brenda G's Designs land, after this show, immediately after, at the top of the hour, I will be interviewed on the Venture Forward channel. John Ventrini owns that channel, and he's going to have me on his show, and he's going to talk to me about how I crush mediocrity, how I move past it, because I do a lot of interesting things, and he's sort of fascinated by it, and it's going to help his audience. He has a lot of recovery type content, and getting new hobbies is something that he tries to, champion. And I do so many piano, woodworking, web development, YouTube consulting. So check it out. I'll put a link in the description. You can choose the set reminder button on that link. I just put it in the chat, and then watch the rest of this show. And then if you need something to do at the top of the hour, that's where I'll be. And I think there's going to be open Q&A. So if you want to know something about me, that's an opportunity.
Well, they can always ask it here too.
Yeah, we'll have one person can come on this show and ask me something if they want. But more of that will happen on John's channel after this show. So that should be fun. So there it is in the link. Link is in the description.
We say hey to Chris Nealon. He came in there, so we say
his full channel name: Niantic River Woodcrafting with Chris Nealon. And you have to inhale after you say it because so many words. Hi, Chris. How are you?
Let's see. I've got a odd fact, fun fact.
Let's hear it
about fall.
Oh, baby, come on, let's go.
Did you know that Americans typically refer to this time of year as fall, while the British use the word autumn?
Yeah, I didn't know the British did that, but I do recognize there are two words for it. Yeah.
And historically, fall was called harvest because the harvest moon that occurs close to the autumn equinox.
Oh, okay.
And did you know that fall is caused by the Earth's tilt, not our distance from the sun?
Yeah, that tilted Earth makes a lot of things happen. Seasons.
It says here, when the northern hemisphere tilts toward the sun, we get warmer. When it tilts away, we get colder. Fall and spring are the times of transition.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, yes.
So there you got some facts about fall for the Mind Equals Blown.
Mind equals blown. I dig it. I dig it. Is your mind blown?
My mind has been blown since a tree fell on it.
That's good.
You can't make his stuff up. You know, it's just too weird. I see that things happen to me that just don't typically happen to other people, and that's why I figure I'm going to win the lottery.
That logic is sound.
You know, one of these days I'm going to look at my numbers and they're going to match the ones that was drawn, and I'm going to say, well, I'll be dog. There it is. I can't make this up.
I played the lottery 3 weeks in a row, or 3 drawings in a row, trying to win that 600 some million. And I got one red Powerball.
Well,
with the doubler. What's the thing you do that makes it more valuable?
Well, it depends on which number they pull for the doubler, and they pull 2 on that ticket you played. So you get 2 times the money, and it would have been $4, but you doubled it, so that gave you 8.
Yep, I got the 8. I got the $8.
Now I hit the what was it? The Powerball and one number on the new double play, and that got me $10 the other day. But somebody in California hit that big boy. Lord have mercy.
That would be nice. It's a lot of cash.
You'd be walking in tall cotton, buddy, if you got that, wouldn't you?
I'd lawyer up and I'd get security. No, I'm serious.
Well, I'd be looking for a lawyer. I don't know that I'd want any security because I'm scary enough just the way it is.
Well, true, but the
people don't usually mess with me more than one time.
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, it's that would be a good problem to have. See, there's problems in life, and then there's good problems. Having too much money would be a good problem.
See, I have a way of getting even with people that they never dreamed would ever happen. You know,
I envision you just crushing the spirit of people. Like total devastation. Like
they never see it coming. You know,
scorched earth.
Yeah, yeah. I've got just that way about me where, you know, I fix it so no, they ain't gonna mess with me ever again. It just takes care of it.
Well, there's a saying, you know, no half measures, and there's another saying where it's like, crush your enemy completely.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, it's a lesson they'll never forget. You know, that's what I want to get across to them. That you know, I don't want them to forget. I want them to always remember that this is what you got for fooling with her.
That's right. And it's
They
only
tend
revenge if they know it's you. Like you can't do something cowardice and then
Mhm.
damage something in secret and snicker. Like that's cowardice.
They usually know it's me because I'm the one sitting there pointing and laughing.
Yeah. See, that's the way you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to be like, this unfortunate thing happened to you because of me, because you did me wrong. You did me dirty.
Right. That's right.
That's the way you roll through life.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, hey, check this out. I think we have an interesting fact. John says, I have one for you. It cost me $150 to take an 80-inch tree down. A guy came by today, offered me $125 to stump grind. Okay. Is that 80-foot tree or 80-inch tree? $150 sounds like a lot for 80 inches.
Well, $150 ain't bad. And on that big pine tree, it was 500.
Did you ever see those stump grinders? It's like this huge wheel. It's like this death machine, and it just nibbles away.
I wish they'd come and grind that stump out front from where that tree fell. That is the awfulest, gnarly looking thing out there. And I figure it's probably just a matter of time before some stupid kid comes along and decides he thinks that's a playground and gets hung up on it.
Did you see what Javi did on his property in Florida? He's clearing out property to eventually build his dream home. And there was this huge stump. And you're looking at the live stream. It looks pretty small. He goes, watch, I'm going to go stand it. He dug the stump, or he didn't dig it out, but he dug down and he went in the hole and his eyes were right here. Like that's how far down it went. And the stump was, I mean, it, like I couldn't even stretch my hands to be as wide as that stump was.
Wow.
And he was throwing gas on it. He was, I think it took him multiple days of burning to get this thing. And he said he hooked everything to it and he tried it, just unbelievably massive. It's crazy. So he worked on it. He's like, I will not lose this fight. I was like,
well, my lawyer said that he's going after him to get that tree cut down that's out there in the right of way, that, one that hasn't fell yet. And he didn't say about that stump, but I told him that needs to come off there too before somebody gets hurt.
Yeah, for sure.
I sure don't want to get sued over it, and I can't touch it because it's in the right of way. So that it falls on the city. If they're not going to let me deal with that stuff out there, then they need to take care of it and pony up on my expenses that I'm out. So I'm waiting to see how all that pans out.
Now, is that other tree large enough that it would hit the house, or is it?
It's large enough it could hit the house, although I have been told that it will go the other direction, which is out toward the street, and that means that it's going to smash cars. And the lawyer's concern is that since it is my property, even though it is the right-of-way, I could be sued if that tree fell and killed somebody or tore up their cars or, whatever. So it needs to come out of there. It's a liability.
You should backhanded hire some kids to just chainsaw it down in secret.
Well, I asked that tree man that he does work for the city. He's private, but he does work for the city. So I asked him about that, and he says, "Oh, you can't touch that." He said, "That's out there on that right of way." He says, "No." He says, "They'll be all over you. You mess with that tree." Well, if I can't mess with them, they need to get over here and get that thing out of here.
Or you need to take off branches one a week until it's all bare.
Well, they're too tall for it. You'd have to have big ladders and stuff to get up there. See, when they came to not clean anything up, that day they cut my mailbox. When they came over to cut my mailbox down the day after the tree fell, that'd be the best way to explain this. They had their bucket truck and they cut branches off of that tree out there. But they didn't take the tree down. And then they took the bucket, swung it up into my yard, and started taking branches off my pine tree. And that's when I went out and asked them, well, are you going to go ahead and take that pine tree down since your tree just smashed the hell out of it yesterday? And they said, oh, no, we can't do that. No, but they could get up here with a chainsaw and just booger it up and make it really look like hell. If it didn't look bad enough before with half the tree smashed all that crap, they could sure come up with a bucket truck and try to make it look worse. Yep. So, yeah. I mean, it's like the Three Stooges are running the street department in this town.
Wow. Well,
yeah.
People need to get to work. I need to get this job done. And
Yep.
you need to get your sanity back, or at least restored to higher levels.
I think it's too late.
Oh, no.
I do believe that it is too late for that to ever happen. I only had one brain cell when this started. It was on life support. So, it's done gasp its last gasp.
Oh, Jimbo's here. Hi, Jimbo.
Hey, Jimbo. Good to see you. Hope everything's fine in Florida.
Florida. Every time I think of Florida, I'm like, why? Why do people live in Florida? I don't understand. Everyone who lives in Florida doesn't like Florida. It seems like, at least the people I know. Do you like Florida, Jimbo? Let me know your honest opinion of the state.
It was okay to visit there when I was a kid, but I really don't have any, desire to go back. If I went back to Florida, the only reason I would go back, it would be during the winter. And it would be to go to that Hard Rock Hotel that's down there in Seminole that's shaped like a guitar. I go down there to see that because I think that would be a sight to behold. Yeah. But I really don't have any desire to go.
Just the weather is all over the place down there. The weather just messes with you in Florida.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's going to be a torrential downpour. 10 minutes later, okay, sun's out. And always hot and rainy. I don't know. Stop raining.
Well, I'll be probably doing that tomorrow because it's supposed to start in here at midnight and rain all day tomorrow.
You can keep all of that in Indiana. Don't send any of it to Pennsylvania.
I'm hoping that is the last of it until I get the roof on the house. Just let me get the roof on. They're saying it ain't going to rain no more for like, I don't know, 9 days or something. So that'd be great. Let them get up there and get that roof done. And if they can get some extra done, that'd be fine too. I want it over with.
Hey, I want it over with too. And it's not even my house.
I've spent every day for the last 8 weeks, every night, sleepless nights, dry heaves, upset stomach, not being able to sleep, parts of the gutter up there smacking the sides of the house when the wind blows. So even if you could sleep, you ain't going to sleep because have you ever tried to sleep with somebody beating a drum in your ear?
I can't sleep with audio distractions. I need silence and I need pitch black.
Well, I can sleep through a certain amount. I mean, I do live in town. So, you're going to get the loud mufflers and the motorcycles and stuff at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and, things such as that. I can usually just roll back over and go back to sleep when stuff like that happens. But it's the constant distractions, where, okay, there's a car. Now there's somebody yelling and screaming. And now, okay, I think that was a gunshot. And now here's these gutters beating against the side of the house because the wind's picked up. And the wind picks up, then I start worrying about, okay, what's going to fall on the house next?
Yeah, that's a little much for me.
And so, now I'm awake and, So, or it's the phone ringing or notifications going off or, something.
See, I put things on silent, so I don't mess with that.
Well, I tried that the other day and about lost a whole group of people. So I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I can't do that. It took me hours to figure out how to fix it. And I never did figure out how to fix it. I just got it fixed.
On iPhone, there's a little toggle that says silence unknown callers. And there's a callers that are not in your address book. So if they're not in your address book, they're not getting through. I love that feature. Yeah.
Every
So,
once in a while, I have somebody sneak through on Facebook on the friends list, where I usually to get on my friends list on Facebook, you got to have a whole bunch of mutual friends, So it's either crafters or woodworkers or, something of that nature. We got a whole bunch of friends in common. If you just sneak in there and there's no friends in common or two or three, and I'm thinking, okay, you're fishing for friends is what you're doing. And you're wanting, start hitting people up for whatever it is that you're selling or doing or what have you. And I don't have time. But one snuck in on me today. And they always start out with, how's your day going? And I'm thinking, okay, you're one step from being blocked. And I hit the thumbs up, and I'm thinking, okay, that should tell you that I'm not interested in talking to you right now. And then she comes back with, have you heard about the government program, blah, 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 and went on for a whole big paragraph that I just stopped reading. And where's the hell is the block button?
Unfriend.
And that's the end of that.
Now, my criteria is similar, but a little different. If someone has no public posts or very few public posts, that's suspect.
Mm-hmm.
They can have a couple friends in common, but if they have no public posts, I'm like, you know what? If you can't do some things in public, I'm like, what else is under the hood? Like that's tip of the iceberg type stuff. Like what else is under there? So I'm like,
Well,
no.
see, that I told you though that back in the day when I was working, we probably wouldn't have been friends because, I made everything I had private. That person that I worked for wanted to nose into every aspect of my life, and that I wasn't letting that happen. All she needed to know was that I did my job well, and I turned everything in on time.
Right.
That's all she needed to know. She didn't need to know anything about my personal life, and she was constantly trying to wheedle her way around in every piece of social media that she could unearth me in to nose into my personal life. No. I'm like, why don't you get a life and leave mine alone?
That's a bit much, but yeah. When I post as if the whole world's seeing it. So I kind of have that framework. So, and, I want a lot of things out there in public because God forbid, if there is something negative out there, like I want the negative thing to be flooded with all the good stuff, push it down. Because some people are like, I'm staying off social media because blah, blah, blah. Well, one bad thing happens about that person. That's the only piece of content you can find. So it's one, I love to be social. I love to talk. I'm a people person. But yeah, I want a lot of content about me on the internet. So when someone searches, they see the good stuff.
Well, that's great if your paycheck don't depend on it.
Well,
because some people, if your paycheck is dependent on it, they're going to look and see anything that they can find to try to keep you from getting that paycheck.
That's pretty harsh.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was extremely harsh. And I worked like a dog. You would not believe the stuff that I put up with to draw that paycheck.
Everything should be egalitarian. That means that you find talent and you find talent that is the most talented. In other words, you give the work to the person who can best do the work. Mm-hmm. Doesn't that make sense?
It makes sense.
That's the way the world should exist.
She didn't follow any rules.
Yeah, you probably had to, if you had wrong think, like if you weren't on her side socially and politically, she seems like the kind of person that would swing the hammer or make your life miserable.
She tried to make my life live in hell in every way that she thought she could, but cutting her off of being able to see anything that I did on social media was a boon for me, because what she doesn't know, she can't make life hard for me about.
Yeah. Yeah, private will do that because sometimes people can slip in under the friends of friends. They can still see your stuff if you post under friends of friends.
Oh, yeah, she would also have other people that work for her try to worm their way into my social media so they could report back to her. There wasn't nothing she didn't try to pull. 11 and a half years I put up with that.
Like a long time.
Yep, it sure was.
And probably just go look at her life. If you ever had, like, not that you would be curious, but just if you did know what she does day to day and how happy, she's probably miserable, probably doesn't have very many friends.
Oh, I could tell you stories.
Probably just a miserable existence.
I could tell you stories. Let me tell you what. She's involved in stuff that you would not believe and posting it all over social media and for the whole world to see all this garbage that she was involved in. And I thought, well, okay, how long is it going to take before the people that we actually do this work for, that you're under contract with, looks you up on social media and sees this stuff that you're posting and pulls your plug? So I worked like a wild woman because I wanted my debts paid off before I retired. That was my goal. And the only way I was going to do it is if I worked and worked hard. And so, yeah, I did everything that I needed to do to be able to be out of debt so I could retire. And just as I got to that point, just after I had paid everything off, they caught up to her and they pulled her plug.
Oh, where's the applause?
And it was 6 months before I could actually retire and draw my Social Security. But luckily, I had saved enough money that I could live until my Social Security kicked in. And yeah.
Wow. There you go.
She owed me money when they pulled the plug, and she tried to get out of paying it. And I made it clear to her that that wasn't going to happen because I was under contract with her.
The company owed you money?
The lady I was working for, she owed me money.
Not her personally, but the company.
The company, yeah.
Okay.
And she tried to get out of paying it. And I said, well, it's like this. You insisted that I sign a contract with you. I didn't want to sign it. I told you I didn't want to sign it. And you said, you'll sign it or you're fired. So I signed it. And now you're going to hold up to your end of the bargain because I did the work you asked me to do that's outlined in the contract, and you're going to pay me for it. It took her over a year piddling around to pay me the money she owed me. Just dibbling it out a little bit at a time.
Man, how can that be legal? That's not right.
But she'd had plenty of money to travel the world over and go to all kinds of goofy seminars and stuff in foreign countries. And the things I could tell you she was involved in, Lord, your eyes would roll back in your head. And she's just blowing money left, right, and sideways on all that. But yeah, people that had busted their butt working for her, she just dibble it out. 20 bucks here, 25 there.
Jeez.
Yeah.
that is a hardship.
Yeah. I thought, well, okay, you get paid back someday. Karma is not going to look kindly on all this. People that, really put their all in trying to help you and help the company, and you just pissing it all away.
Thing that'll kill a company is bad management. Mm-hmm. You can have great leaders, you can have great executives, but if management is, people don't quit jobs, they quit bad management.
Yep.
If I owned a job, my managers would be top notch. They would be all singing the same tune. We'd all be on the same page. You total. I mean, yeah, management. I watch these Reddit channels on YouTube where they talk about these Reddit posts of people leaving jobs, bad management, karma, and it all comes down to just bosses that are just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's like all people want to do is, do the job get paid for what they're doing, and go. And some of the stories, I'm just like, why don't these executives and the leadership know what's going on in their company? Like the management is the critical piece. But there were, executives are worried about, stock inventory and accounts payable. I mean, there's all kinds of crap to worry about, but the thing you need to worry about is management.
Well, she liked to just go and travel and do her thing, and she would hire managers. And I'm telling you, I use that word loosely, to manage the company, which they did absolutely nothing. And when I would try to very politely explain to her that things weren't going the way that they should be going, I got told off.
Yeah, sometimes you can't cross them.
And the last time I tried to approach her about it, she came back with, "Are you trying to tell me how to run my company?" And I thought, well, far be it from me to try to help you keep the company afloat so that you can have all this money to, run all over the world and do the goofy stuff that you do. Just do what you're going to do, because I see that eventually the end's in sight, and I want to be out of debt when it happens. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing.
You know what's a fun subreddit to read is malicious compliance. And this is about when the manager tells you to do something that is stupid and is going to hurt the company, and you just follow the orders, and then the stuff blow. It's so entertaining. And sometimes it's not manager employee. Sometimes it's just like an apartment complex will say, if anyone leaves anything in the hallway, it's getting thrown out. What do people do? They put large items they want thrown out in the hallway. It's just like malicious compliance.
Bring in your old couch and chassis from an old car that's sitting up on blocks in your driveway.
A dumbbell set that you don't want to haul down to the trash. Right there now. Okay, fine, take it. I love that channel. I do. And sometimes it's millions of dollars. Like the one guy was terminated, an employee says, "Okay, son, thanks for your work." Like a Texan or whatever. "You're fired." He goes, "But before you go, I'm gonna need all the passwords." Because he's like, "Well, sir, now that I'm fired, I don't feel it would be a conflict if I were to divulge, So he walked out, and like the whole system, like no changes, no maintenance can be done. Mm-hmm. Like, "Please come back." He goes, "Okay, I'll come back as a consultant for $40,000 for an hour."
That's gonna cost you.
There are so many good. There's a lot of good content out there on the. I love the internet. The internet is great. Also, pro revenge and nuclear revenge. Oh, those are where people get back at someone who wronged them. Mm-hmm. And holy moly, you would fit right into that. How you just totally destroy your enemies.
Yep.
You could probably write half a dozen blog entries on that subreddit, and they would give you Reddit gold.
Arlene just dropped in. We'll say hey to her. She said that she's dropping in and say hi and going back to sleep.
Oh,
man, don't let us bore you.
Drop a like, please.
Don't let us bore you. We should be able to keep you awake. But yeah, you talking about that also reminded me of a story about when I was doing the swap meets and stuff. How people always like to try to cut your price down.
Yeah.
They think that you're too high on your price. And one day, I had that ambulance, and I was up in the ambulance sacking up feed. I'd make these Ziploc bags of feed for, people who was buying on the fly there at the show, so that they'd have something to feed their critters till they could get to the store the next day, and buy them a big bag of feed. So I'm up in the truck and I'm bagging up feed to sit out on the table, and had a fella helping me out there with the critters, and some fella had walked up to the table to buy something, and I'm just not really paying a whole lot of attention, just noticed out of the corner of my eye that somebody was out there. And now I get called out of the truck. And I thought, well, what in the hell is so important that you have to call me away from what I'm doing, that you can't just go ahead and, sell the stuff to the guy? What's going on? Well, the guy that was wanting to buy something, I always sold them little red-eared slider turtles.
You were talking about those, yeah.
And I'd have the complete setup. I'd have the kidney-shaped bowl that had the little palm tree in it, and a bag of food, and I don't know, just everything that went to taking care of the turtle. And so I had them set up there, and as memory serves me, I think I had the whole setup for $17, which I thought was real reasonable. You went to a pet store, you was going to pay more than that for all that. You'd pay that for the bowl. So I step out there, and the fella asked me, he said, will you take 10? I said, I'll take 20. He says, well, you got it priced at 17. And I said, I'll take 25.
Oh, Brenda, putting the screws to him.
And he says, but you got it priced at 17. I said, you wanting it to go higher? He says, no, I'm wanting it to go lower. And I said, well, you're going about it all the wrong way.
I love it.
And he's just standing there all flustered. And I said, look, buddy, I didn't come here to give this stuff away. I'm not ashamed of it, and I will take it all back home. I said, I've got stuff priced out here reasonable. I said, if you're wanting a discount, I'll tell you what. Do you want to buy all of them? Do you want to buy all the turtle setups that I have, the bowls, the food, the turtles, the entire thing? And he says, well, how many you got? And I said, well, looks to me like there's probably about 50 out here, and I got about 250 still in the truck. He said, well, no. And I said, well, then you should be happy to pay the $17 for one setup. And he says, well, I'm not going to do that. And I said, well, then I guess you're not getting a turtle. And I come back up in the truck. And the guy that was working for me, he didn't know what the hell to do. He didn't know whether to laugh, cry, run away, what. And so I'm up there, and I just kept working. And about 20 minutes later, this guy that's working for me, he just starts laughing. He is doubled over laughing out there. And so I poked my head around the door. I said, well, what is going on now? And he says, that guy just came back and gave me, he goes like this, and gives me $17. Because he didn't want you alerted.
Oh, I love it. That is the best.
I taught him to hush, didn't I?
Oh, that is a beautiful story.
The more he argued with me, the higher the price is going to go. And then I love the ones on the last day when you started packing everything up and stacking it in the vehicle, and they would invariably come and want a rabbit that is in the cage on the bottom with stuff piled up on top of it, 5 or 6 high,
Unpacking fee.
You have like $10 on this rabbit. Now they want the rabbit. They've had 3 days to buy this rabbit. And so they come and say, well, what happened to the little floppy-eared, whatever? And I look in there, I'd say it's on the bottom. And it's, well, that's the one I want. And I'd say, well, it's going to be $50. Well, I thought you only had 10 on it. I said, well, I did when it was out here. I said, but now I've got it packed and it's on the bottom in there. I'm going to have to repack the whole vehicle now. And I ain't doing that for free. You've had all weekend.
How'd that one end up?
Well, some of them would go ahead and pay, and then there was other ones that they decided that they could go someplace else and get a better deal. Well, okay, fine, but after I'd sit there for 3 days in either the sweltering sun or the pouring rain or the ice storms, wind storms, whatever the hell had gone on, and taking care of all this livestock all weekend while I was out there slopping through the mud, trying to keep the rain from tearing my tents all up and pushing the tops off of them. And everything that I had gone through, and they're going to come around at the very last minute after I'm stocking the vehicle up and tell me that they want this animal. Expect I'm going to give them a deal. Yeah.
Yeah. $50.
Yep.
That's the price.
Yep. People learn not to do that to me. And then here's another one that I love to do. The first day. You get there on the first day and you get out, you get your tent set up, you get your table set up, you start getting all your animals out. And there'd be people come by that had some of the same kind of animals you have. And so they're checking your prices to see what you got. Well, I didn't have any tags on anything yet, so I could tell them anything. And I'd like have a big cage full of doves out there. And they'd say, how much you want for your doves? And I said, $15 a piece. And they'd say, okay. And then they'd walk off. See, so they're figuring anything under $15, right? And so they price theirs maybe at 14 or 12 or something like that. So then by morning, when I'm putting the price tags on everything, doves are $8 a piece.
Smart.
They'd come by later and see that all the doves is gone. And you sold all your doves? Yeah, they're gone.
You don't owe any other explanation.
Yeah.
They're gone, period. End of sentence.
Yeah. I thought, yeah, I think you're going to undercut me. You have to get up pretty early in the morning for that little.
You're a ruthless business person. I love it.
But yeah, there's all kinds of, little sly things that you can do to straighten people out, teach them a lesson in a hurry. And then every once in a while, though, somebody'd catch you, they'd come down through there and they'd see your $8 price tag on your doves. And you knew, okay, they was here last night and you told them 15 and now they're seeing 8 and their eyes about this big because they know that they got theirs priced higher than yours. So, now they think they're going to go back and run a price war. Well, a little late now.
Oh. Well, isn't one of the retail things, especially for, fairs and stuff like that, is to never change the price midday? Because you'll catch heck for it. Because someone who paid the one price will see it at a different price, and they'll
depends on the size of the show. If you're at a small show, that might be true. But I used to do big shows. I mean, it would be like an entire fairground filled with tents.
Wow.
You're talking acres and acres and acres of booths. So for somebody to come back through and see, that you've changed the price on something, that would almost never happen.
That's good.
It would have to be another vendor or something. And usually they're not paying any attention at that point anyway. They've got their own stuff that they're trying to sell and do what they got to do. But these were huge shows that I used to go to and be about 3 days long. Get there on Thursday, set up on Friday. You'd sleep out in the parking lot on Thursday. And Friday, you'd set up. And Saturday and Sunday, it was the show. And Sunday evening, you'd start packing up to go home. And, so you could be selling out in the parking lot on Thursday. There was a lot of times where I just leave room between me and the vehicle in front of me. I just set up my tent right there in the parking lot and get stuff out and go to selling it right there before I even got in the fairground.
I used to do that. I used to be in business with a couple of people. We made T-shirts with our own designs. We had our own brand, and I did all the designing. And sure enough, we'd set up that table, and hot sun, we'd try and peddle those T-shirts. I did it 5 or 6 times. I'm like, this ain't worth it. This is labor.
Yeah, you'd have to have a canopy be underneath, so that you had some shade. I always had, well, I called them tents, and I had a little canopy for a while, 10 by 10 canopy, but they really wouldn't hold up like what I would call a tent. And the tents were galvanized pipe. Take your pipe cutter and you cut them to whatever lengths you needed. And then you'd buy these kits that had your corners and your roof peaks and stuff in them so that you could put the whole thing together. And then you get a tarp big enough to cover the top. And then at night, you'd have tarps that you'd wrap the sides up in to keep everybody off your stuff at night. Yeah. And that worked out real well. That was a little more heavy duty to keep your stuff under control. But you know, those canopies are nice if you're just going to do occasional flea markets or, you know, something like that. But if you're going to give it constant use, it's going to be taking a beating, they're not going to last very long.
Yeah, it's good to have good canopy, but it is a grind. It was really tough.
Well, I'll tell you what, Matt. My clock just went off. You're saying it's 10 minutes till 8. Time flies when we're having fun.
It does.
So you want to have a drawing real quick before we got to go?
Yeah, we can. There's 6 people here. Not a lot of peeps, but there's some.
Because I know that you got your thing you got to do there, and you know, we can give something away here real quick.
All right, folks, here's what we're doing. Brenda wrote down a number on a piece of paper. If you guess that number exactly, you win. You can only guess after she says go, and you only guess one time. She'll ship you a physical prize anywhere in the lower 48 states for free. Outside of that, you pay for shipping, or you can re-gift it to someone. So everyone can play, whether they're in the United States or not. There's a bonus prize. She wrote out the number with words, and she overcapitalized things. So as a bonus guess, you can guess how many capital letters she used. So it would be guess the number she wrote down, slash, and then how many capital letters. You could win up to 2 prizes. Shipping is expensive. Brenda's on a fixed income. Any super chats go to fund the postage for this effort. Every week. She does this almost every week. Thank you, Brenda, for doing this for the community. So with that, what is the number range people can pick from?
The number range tonight is between 40 and 49.
Ready.
Are we ready?
Ready.
Go.
All right. Pick a number between 40 and 49. There will be no live turtles given away today. It could be 40, it could be 49, or it could be anything in between. Guess once, put the slash, and then your guess the number of capital letters she used. Because she knows I'm a publishing professional, and she knows I hate when people miscapitalize things, and she does it anyway because she just likes to annoy me.
Yeah, I'm out of the turtle business. We don't do turtles anymore.
Can I guess?
Well, sure. It looks like we don't have a lot of people jumping in.
All right. I'll put one in there. Oh, I did the same. Oh, no, I didn't. We have 44, 43, 45, and 43 again.
And none of them are right.
Oh, bummer.
Y'all want to try again?
All right, go around again, folks.
Go.
Oh, here comes Steve Nealon. Oh, 44 was already there. Frenzy, Wicked Truth. Steve, you can guess again. You picked a duplicate number. Couple more entries. Oh, the Stream Elements bot is trying to play.
We got a winner.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Chris Nealon has number 48.
Okay. And there are 4 capital letters. Chris did not pick a entry for the bonus prize. Congratulations, Chris Nealon. You won one of the 4 prizes Brenda's about to show you.
Okay, let's see.
Get your mailing address to Brenda via messenger or email, brenda.gibson@gmail.com.
We've got the 4 tiles, coaster tiles. These are the stone. So I've got those here, and they got felt on the back, so they're not going to scratch tables and stuff up. I've got a dream catcher that I made. This one has 2 squirrels and let's see, I think it's got 2 squirrels and a bird for the little fetishes on it. And it's got little bitty feathers there on the tail. This is
Every week there's another Dreamcatcher style. You must have made a lot of those.
Yeah, I made stacks and stacks of dream catchers.
Wow.
I'll get on a kick of making something and just go crazy. Then I've got Dragon Eye, the green dragon's eye. This is the last of the dragon's eyes that I made. And I've got the picture that I painted. Try to get it so the glare's off of it.
That's what I like.
That is an acrylic pour that I framed up.
Oh, wow.
It looks like lavender flowers. That's what it looks like. So those are the 4 items up for grabs tonight in the drawing.
Artwork, Dragon's Eye,
Dreamcatcher, and the coasters.
Dreamcatcher and coasters. All right, Chris Nealon, which one will it be? Let us know in the chat.
No turtles were harmed in the making of this video. Waiting on Chris.
Let me get some background music going.
Welcome to All Things YouTube.
He says the coasters. Okay, so Chris, send me your mailing address over there on Messenger again, please, so I don't have to dig for it, and I will get them out to the post office tomorrow and wing them in your direction.
All right.
Sounds good. So with that, I think we are done for this week. Hope everybody stays dry over the weekend, and hope it don't snow on you next week. I know some people live up there in that cold part of the country where they're saying it's going to get hateful. So, y'all try to stay safe and dry, and maybe we can get a little more decent weather out of this fall before it turns off hateful.
The cold. One good thing about the cold is when I stream at night, the cold air will cool down the studio, because with all these lights, it gets hot. It is 80 degrees in here now.
Well, if they ever get the roof put on the house, then I may start trying to move the studio upstairs and try to get some of this house done before it gets too cold to work in here. But I don't want to move anything up there until I know I've got a roof. But,
sounds like a plan to me.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's going to be Heifer Haven come out here in just a few minutes. So y'all stay tuned for a new Heifer Haven with some free advice.
And I'll put my link of where I'm going to be right after this. So catch me in 5 minutes at this link I just put in the chat.
All righty. And we will let you all go, and we will see you on down on the interwebs. Night, everybody.
Good night.